lovelies, it's Kate. Welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. I decided to build a mansion in Tartosa. So this is my second attempt. The first attempt didn't really work out. I first built on a smaller lot, but then I started to work on this build and I think it turned out super cute. I wanted to build in Tartosa. I wanted to use a lot of the new objects. So this build isn't about weddings, it's about the new world and the whole vibe. It's a Italian style mansion, and I started off by working on some stairs using platforms. So I wanted to have this really beautiful eye-catching entrance in the back, and I'm actually going to do the same for the front. So the front will have a very similar entrance. I've used platforms for this. Your Sims are able to traverse as long as the height difference is only one step. So you can use platforms to create your own stairs. And I then connected the top of the stairs using some regular stairs. And I think I used the ones from the Courtyard Oasis kit. The style is Moroccan, but it kind of worked out. It looks super amazing. And to have this multi-level thing going on, I started off at the very beginning by building a room, and then I've used a floor piece on top. I expanded it, and then I just connected everything. I've also used the platform color from Courtyard Oasis and like different debug objects just to make this look super fancy. Some pillars and some type of wall or fence from the new pack in debug just to make it look really beautiful. So at first I kind of just laid out the general shape of my stairs, and then it all came together when I really started to decorate. This is when it really started to look amazing, and at this point I knew that I would like to keep going. Like sometimes when I start a build, I'm not really sure if I'm going to continue building it or if I just discard it, but here I knew, yeah, these stairs are it. I also really like the light in Tartosa. This is always a concern for a builder, because when the light is kind of weird and dull, everything looks dull and boring and weird. So I really like how this looks. The vibe is beautiful, like a wonderful sunset. It's summer and I was just really feeling it when I was building this. And then I placed some trees from debug. So we have this brand new palm tree, we have this other quite big tree that you can see here, and the one that I just placed, and also some rocks. So if you want to do some landscaping in Tartosa, if you want to just achieve this Italian vibe, you should really take a look at debug. Unfortunately, these objects weren't added just to general build by, so you have to dive into debug, but it's totally worth it because the objects are amazing. And I feel like if you want to have a build in a really specific style, you really have to adjust the landscaping, and we don't have lots of trees in the game, honestly, so debug is always helpful. And I was really pleased to see that we got some brand new trees and stuff. These smaller trees here that I just sized down, these are from the base game, I think, so they don't belong to the pack, but these are also very common for a build like this, something that you would see in Tuscany or something, so I wanted to use them as well. And the build was kind of all over the place at some point. Whenever I saw something fun in debug, I just placed it somewhere in the corner, so I had it ready. So I was just looking through debug a lot. Then I've built this entrance area, so I finally start work on the house itself, and then I've used an arch from the new pack, and I've used a method that I had also used for my last build. I was still so inspired by these arches that I wanted to do the same thing essentially, so I just placed it. I used the 2 mod by Twisted Maxi to change the size, so I scaled it up and down, and then I used alternating colors to create this pattern, to create this look, and it's just for decorative purposes. It's just a super fancy entrance, really. And also, as always, the disclaimer, you don't need the 2 mod to grab this from the gallery. This build is CC free and unmodded, but the 2 mod is amazing and it just allows you to do different things, and you don't need the mod. Like, you can upload the build unmodded and the one who uses your build won't need the mod, which is amazing. I also used the new windows and the new doors. There are only doors for the mid and tall wall height, so at first I wanted to use the smallest wall height, but then the doors wouldn't have fit, so I decided to change it. And I was really particular while I was building this. Like sometimes I'm just adding more and more stuff very quickly, but here as soon after I finished the stairs and the entrance area that you just saw, I felt like it just looks so balanced. It just looked, I can't describe it, but I've talked about this before. Sometimes you just look at the composition of a build and it just feels right. And I was so afraid to kind of destroy this. I really wanted this to look really balanced. So I was really particular when it came to just adding more stuff, like this area at the bottom down here where I've also added some arches. I really wanted this to stand out, because sometimes when you add too much, it just kind of takes away from the stuff that you really want to be in the focus point, like the stairs, for example. I then very carefully added more stairs because I really loved how the first ones looked, but I wanted these to be smaller, not as eye-catching, because I didn't want this to be like just too much, because there are just stairs everywhere at this point. And I just placed some stairs over there. I'm also going to decorate them a tiny bit, and then I used the good old base game debug brick. Some of you might remember the good old base game debug brick. There was a time where I've used it all the time in every single build. There's also a tutorial about this object on my channel, the round flower beds tutorial. I used to be in love with this object. It's still amazing, and I wanted to use it again after all this time because it's just perfect for a Mediterranean type of build. It's just amazing to create flower beds and stuff, so I've used it in different areas. And I then had to make a decision on the fence. We have a new fence in the brand new pack, but the fence is a bit much. Like, there's a lot going on, some flowers, blossoms, I don't know, there's a lot going on, and I was going for a really clean, and I was really particular with what I added, as I said. So I was like, nope, I can't use the new fence. It's too much. It really looks like weddings, and I just wanted this to be Mediterranean. I then added these plants from the new pack, like these flower bouquets, and I also removed them because, again, it was too much. And I didn't like that the table at the bottom wasn't centered in front of the entrance, so I moved it up a level. And I started to work on the pool. For this, I've used 2 rugs. These rugs are my guideline. I've then used a base game debug object. It's just a wood plank, and I'm using Alt and the left mouse button to rotate this object freely. You only need the move objects sheet for this. You have to activate it, and you have to switch to the Sims 3 camera because I'm afraid it's still not working when you are using the Sims 4 camera. And the top right hand corner, you can change the settings. You can just switch. And then I just placed every single object, and I just tried to work out a nice curve there, and I wanted this to look good. And essentially this is just a frame which is sitting above your pool. We can't have proper round pools, so you just finish this shape, and then you use the pool tool to build a regular pool below. And this object doesn't have a footprint. It's non-existent to your Sims, so they're just going to walk right through or over it, and they're going to get into the pool. It's not going to block your Sims' path, and this way your Sims can just enter the pools. I used the Toombot just to change the position a bit, and then I've built the pool below. This is great about the Toombot. This is a great example for just some minor things. You place all these objects, and then you notice that you don't really like the position, and you can change it up. So this is amazing. I've then used this brand new pergola. I had no idea which color to choose, really. I've then placed the fountain from the new pack right in the pool because I saw this one cheap and I thought, this is looking so empty, a bit boring. I wanted to have something extra special. So I decided to use the fountain from the new pack just inside the pool. Again, you just move objects for this, really. I just placed it in the pool, and that's it. And then I decorated the outside area a bit. I wanted to have a barbecue grill, a counter, just a space for having a barbecue, just for eating on the outside. So after the pack came out now, I have created a wedding venue and this mansion in Tartosa. Please let me know, what do you want to see next? What's your request? Do you want to see another build in Tartosa, or should we move on from the pack and do something entirely different, or do you still want to see something in Tartosa? I really love the world, and to be honest, I would still like to build at least one house right now in Tartosa, something right at the beach because we have a beautiful beach lot. I wish the lot would be a bit bigger, and I know I always prefer big lots, but the one that is like in this world it's kind of elongated. It has a really long rectangular shape, and this is always challenging for me, but I'm going to do my best and I'm going to see what I will build. I'm really excited, and yeah, I think I definitely want to do that. And let me know what do you want to see? Do you have any special requests maybe? Here I'm working on the house itself. This is just a balcony essentially. And again, I was really particular while I was adding stuff, while I was adding rooms. I've placed this chimney, which is also from the new pack, and I then expanded the build more and more. And at this point, I was really happy with this. I think the roof pattern is from Jungle Adventure. We have different ones which would fit a Mediterranean style build, but I really prefer this one. The other ones are kind of like too bright. It looks cartoonish, but I feel like this one is looking really, really good. I really like the color. You have like different, it looks like there are different like underlying tones, like cool tone, warm tone. You have like really, really great swatches when it comes to this particular roof. And I then used this base game wall decoration object to make it look a bit more Mediterranean, Italian. I've used the new windows. I really love them. They are looking so great. Like even before this pack, I've always created multiple Mediterranean builds like in the past. This has always been one of my favorite styles, and I'm so excited that we finally got some like additional objects for this style. When you look at the base game, Oasis Springs for example, which is clearly set in the US, but this type of style can also be used to create some really typical Mediterranean builds, for example. So we had some objects like this in the game already, but this pack here added lots of amazing stuff. If you want to build a Italian or probably even Spanish build, like this type of stuff, you can really repurpose all the objects, and I really love this. I love the style. It looks so inviting and cozy. It's like a mansion, but in a really inviting and warm and cozy way, not like super modern and cold. But I have to say I'm missing modern mansions. I think I have to build one. Oh, and also one thing is on my list as well, if I've already talked about in a recent video, we have this beautiful pergola, which I think is supposed to be used over dance floor, but I wanted to repurpose it for a really fancy mansion. As I've said, we are going to have a really over-the-top garden, just like Lisa Vanderpump in Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. We are going to have a really fancy party in the garden using this pergola. I'm ready for this, and yeah, I'm just really excited right now using all the new objects, to be honest, and I can't wait to see what's next, like what's the next pack. And not just kit, I love some kits, like the Courtyard Oasis kit, for example, but I'm really curious what the next pack will be. Here I'm landscaping the front. I'm using like this flat base game bush, and also you only have to hold shift while placing an object like this, and it automatically gets duplicated. This only works with any object which can be duplicated, like debug objects for example can't be duplicated, but if you have any just regular object kind of, you can just hold down shift, you place it, and it instantly gets duplicated, and you can just click the way it just did. So this is how I really like to use these bushes for slopes when I want to hide them. It's super quick. Even if you have a huge slope, you can probably fill it within 2 minutes or something. Like even if you have a really huge extra mansion on a 64 by 64 lot, it's super quick. And it's just part of the game. You don't need anything. Just the move objects cheat once again, because if you're doing this, you're probably going to place some of them like kind of inside each other. So I would recommend using the move objects cheat, but you just have to hold down shift and that's it. That's just base game magic, I guess. Here I'm furnishing. I then noticed that the interior is relatively compact. I wanted to have a really rustic kitchen, so it kind of fits the style. I didn't like that the kitchen was so small, but I didn't have enough space, so I was trying to make the best out of it. You know, I love to build huge kitchens. I then just built a dining room area, just different things, just to make it look really just cozy. I wanted this to be like using the rock and plants and stuff. I wanted this to be really warm and inviting and stuff, and I had so much fun furnishing this. Also, when it comes to the gameplay, I've heard a lot of sad news, sadly. Like, I've read that some creators have uninstalled the pack because the gameplay is such a problem, sadly. I hope we will get a patch. And yeah, I've talked about this in my last video, that I've heard some rumors, kind of, because I don't play, I only build, so I had no idea, but apparently some have even uninstalled. So I think that there are some issues. So for building is really great, and I can recommend it if you are just all over these objects, but the whole wedding system, the new one, seems to be a bit broken and it seems to be difficult. That's sad, but I hope it can be fixed, and the objects are really, really beautiful. The world is beautiful, and it's just so much fun. And yeah, this is almost it. You can here see some screenshots, and you can find this build in the gallery. It's fully furnished. There are 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, and it's available in my galleries. You see, friend, I modded. My ID is KateEmerald. You can get the trade files on my Patreon. And speaking of which, it's time to thank my wonderful Emerald Patreons. A big thank you to Asia, Dawn Bryce, Rishka MD, Sarah Diaz, Saturated Spark, Shanna McClam, Talena Lynn, 2Cats Tailoring, Vicky S, and Ura. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you to all my other Patreons. Thank you to anyone who watches my videos and supports me. I love you so, so much. I hope you enjoyed this video and this build. As I've said, you can grab it from my gallery. I hope you will have a perfect week. I hope you're all doing well, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.